at my wife's funeral held in the pouring rain. What caught my eye was a woman in a pristine white dress. "Now I can marry you, bro-in-law." Her wet, long black hair clung to her cheeks and shoulders, and her lips, painted with bright red lipstick, curved into a sly smile. I was frozen in shock by the sight. It was at that moment that everything clicked in my mind. "My name is Jason. I'm 29 years old. I have a 4-year-old daughter with my wife, Catherine. We discovered her sound-related illness a year ago, and since then, she's been in and out of the hospital, currently still admitted. She told me she lost her parents early on and doesn't have any siblings. So, my wife doesn't have a family home to rely on. Thus, while she's in the hospital, I've been juggling work and childcare. Thankfully, with an understanding workplace and the help from my own family, I've been managing. Still, every day is a whirlwind of business. I always dash out of my job right at quitting time, run full tilt from the train station, and head straight to the daycare. When I arrive to pick her up, my recently turned 4-year-old daughter, Maddie, seeing my face, yells 'Daddy,' and runs to hug me. Looking around the room, it seemed that Maddie was the only child left, and it looked like I was the last parent to pick up yet again today. "I'm so sorry for being late every day," I said, lowering my head. The teacher responded with a warm smile. "Maddie did a great job on the monkey bars today. Since she did so well, maybe we should have her favorite hamburgers as a treat tonight." Maddie hopped around joyfully, giggling beside me. "All right, deal. Yay." By the time I got home, it was almost 8 o'clock. I managed to feed Maddie, give her a bath, and got her to bed by around 10. Watching Maddie peacefully sleeping, I took a moment to relax. Carefully not to wake her, I snapped a picture of her sleeping face. "I'll show this to Sarah when I visit her tomorrow." Amid these daily routines, I recently had a worry I couldn't share with anyone. For about 3 months now, every time I checked the mailbox, several blank envelopes were covering the newspapers. The anonymous letters had the ambiguous name Ryan written on them, and I had no idea who it might be from. However, considering the dense writing and the distorted words of love towards me, it's probably from a woman. Every time I read these letters filled with nothing but disgust and nausea, I'd get goosebumps all over. Not again. So far, other than these letters, there hadn't been any other harm. To be honest, at this point, I didn't think the police would be of much help. Maybe it's best not to provoke the sender. Plus, I don't want to worry Emily. I decided that I'd keep quiet about it rather than upsetting my hospitalized wife. However, I always lightly checked the content of the letters and stored them somewhere out of my daughter's sight, just in case they might serve as evidence later on. The next day, I planned to leave Maddie with my mom and finish up some overdue work by pulling some overtime. "I'll head out first," a colleague said, leaving the office. As I was gearing up to focus on my computer, my phone suddenly rang from the daycare. Did Emily run late picking her up? When I answered, I heard the frantic voice of the daycare teacher. "There's something urgent I need to tell you." Her voice was shaky, and she sounded extremely stressed. Upon hearing what she had to say, I felt the blood drain from my face. "Maddie, thank God you're safe." As I rushed into the daycare, I saw the teacher, my daughter Maddie, and my mother. "I'm so sorry. Even though we were here." The teacher apologized, bowing repeatedly. With trembling hands, I tightly hugged Maddie. I was told that someone tried to kidnap Maddie. During pickup time, when the yard was bustling with parents, a woman took advantage of the situation and approached Maddie. Thankfully, the teacher noticed when the woman tried to lead Maddie away and intervened. In the end, the woman fled without doing anything, but I was informed that the police had been notified just to be safe. It felt like I'd had a bucket of ice water dumped on me when I heard the story all over again. What would have happened to Maddie if the teacher hadn't noticed? The mere thought is too terrifying to bear. Maddie, you must have been scared, huh? But it's okay now. No, I wasn't scared. But were you surprised when a stranger talked to you? She looked just like Mom. What? But she wasn't Mom. When I called her Mom, she said her name was Lydia. Maddie said, her spirit seeming to sag. Lydia, could it be her? A fiery warmth surged through my entire body. I had overlooked Lydia, thinking it was just letters, but now she's revealed herself. Who on earth is she? Perhaps because of my stern expression, Mom kept staring at me intently. Do you know her? No, I don't. Hesitating for a moment about whether to mention the letters, Mom then grabbed Maddie's hand and stood up. You should stay at our place tonight, just to be safe. Really? Yay! Maddie gleefully expressed her joy. Rather than causing a scene in front of my daughter without knowing the whole story, I decided to go to the police tomorrow. The next day, on my day off, I went to the police, showed them the letters I had kept, and filed a report. However, I was advised to be cautious as they might not immediately identify the person. That's probably expected at this point. Later, I took Maddie and Mom to the hospital where Kayla was admitted. Seeing her mother after such a long time, my daughter was ecstatic. While Mom and Maddie went to the store to buy some snacks, Kayla pulled something out of a drawer. Here, I want to give you this. Why? Upon opening it as prompted, I found a handmade birthday card inside. It's Jacob's birthday tomorrow, right? I totally forgot. I figured you might have. I'm sorry, this handmade card is all I can offer. It's not a big deal. Thanks. I'm super thrilled. Well, I'll make sure to get you something even more exciting next year. As the two of them were laughing together, Kayla's expression suddenly became serious. You know, my mom is actually still alive. What? You said you didn't have any family left. I'm sorry. There were reasons I kept silent. I also have a younger sister. Why didn't you tell me? Kayla bit her lower lip and remained silent for a moment. If you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I was told by my mom that it was better to cut ties, so I avoided contacting her. But I just couldn't resist hearing her voice, so I called her. Oh, how's your mill doing? She was concerned when I mentioned I'm in the hospital, but she again insisted that we shouldn't keep in touch. I didn't know what to say to my wife, who looked downcast. We both fell silent. I'm sure, given her health, Kayla must have really wanted to see her mother. What could possibly be the reason she can't see her? I wasn't sure if I should pry and ask her about it. I'm sure one day your mill will reach out to us. Yeah, I hope so. Saying this, Kayla gave a warm smile. Little did I know that this conversation would be our last. The next day, Kayla's condition took a sudden turn for the worse, and she passed away. A few days later, in the drizzling rain, Kayla's funeral was held in a solemn manner. The suddenness of it all left me overwhelmed, struggling to fulfill my duties as the chief mourner. Kayla, you left us too soon. Our daughter, Sarah, kept peering into the coffin, repeatedly urging, Mom, wake up. As the funeral, filled with sorrow, was nearing its end, suddenly there was a commotion near the entrance of the funeral home. A bad feeling washed over me, and I hurriedly headed to the entrance. Before me stood a woman, unmistakably dressed in a white wedding gown, her long black hair, wet from the rain, sticking flat against her cheeks and shoulders. And her lips, painted a vivid red, were curled into a sly grin. Who the heck is this woman? I was taken aback by the bizarre scene when her lips began to move. Now I can marry your brother. What? Not only were her words shocking, but her voice also gave me chills. That voice, it sounded just like one I knew all too well. Yes, one I thought I'd never hear again. I took another long look at the woman's face, my breath catching in my throat. Eyes, is that you, Sarah? My murmur caused a stir in the crowd. Whispers spread. Sarah, can't be, but she does look just like her. Such voices echoed all around. Incredibly, the woman in the wedding dress looked exactly like Sarah. I was dumbfounded, unable to grasp what was happening. I've waited for this moment for so long, you know? Sarah, no, that can't be. She's not Mom. She looks like Mom, but she's not. Suddenly, my daughter shook off her grandmother's hand and dashed towards the woman. Go away. Who's this brat? As the woman spoke in a low voice, she suddenly shoved Emily, who was right in front of her. Seeing Emily fall with a splash onto the wet ground, I felt my blood boil. What are you doing? I quickly ran over to the fallen Emily and scooped her up. My daughter was shaking, but she shot the woman a fierce glare. Who the hell are you? Oh, come on, no need to be shy. It's me, Lily. Lily. That was the name written in that letter. And she's the woman who tried to take Emily away. You know, I'm gonna be your brother-in-law's real wife. That's why I came to get you. Excuse me. I was confused, trying to make sense of what she meant. A form voice echoed. Is that all you wanted to say? Quickly turning towards the source of the unexpected voice, there stood a middle-aged woman. Mom? Mom. Mr. Kevin, nice to meet you. I'm Jessica's mother. This here is Jessica's twin sister, Lily. As I was trying to quickly grasp what the woman was saying, she approached me quietly. Twins. Come to think of it, I recalled Jessica mentioning during our last conversation that she had a sister. And she also mentioned she was estranged from her mother. Why are you involved too? I told Jessica not to contact you. The painful and sorrowful face Jessica showed me the day before she disappeared flashed in my mind. It's all to protect her from Lily. What Jessica's mother, Barbara, revealed next was truly shocking. Jessica and Lily were identical twins, and since birth, they were so alike that even their parents sometimes couldn't tell them apart. However, as they grew up, their personalities became polar opposites. The quiet Jessica contrasted with Lily, who became incredibly spoiled and unmanageable. No matter how many times we scolded her, she never changed, and Lily started to take anything and everything from her sister. Take ties, snacks, clothes. We always corrected her for it, but taking advantage of Jessica's kindness. Lily started to even take money and eventually even boyfriends. It's not like I stole them. Jess said it was okay. Plus, I bet everyone prefers me over someone as plain as her. I'm sure you'd even have better chemistry with me. What the hell are you saying? I felt a chill as Lily reached out, trying to touch me. After all, when I impersonated Jessica at the university she attended, it was easy to lure her boyfriend to a hotel. Sadly, because of that, Jessica had to drop out. I remembered Jessica mentioning something about experiencing a traumatic event at college that made her quit. As I stared in shock at Lily, she smirked back. It's not just her boyfriend. Lily ruined Jessica's friendships, work relationships, and even a job offer she had secured. It's not my fault. If a relationship can be ruined just because I pretended to be Jessica for a bit, then it was doomed from the start. Jessica couldn't find happiness with Lily around. So, we had to send her away from the house. We cut off all contact and told her to live as if we never existed in her life. I've been searching for Jessica non-stop since she suddenly disappeared. We're twins after all. While my Mill looked tense and serious, Lily spoke with a tone that suggested she believed she hadn't done anything wrong. I've been trying to find where she went. I found her contact in my Mill's phone a while back. Can you believe she's already married with kids? So, I decided to take you too. Beside her, my mother kept apologizing, head bowed, thinking of how Jessica might have suffered because of her sister and didn't get to see her mother in the end. My vision blurred with tears. Lily, let me make this clear. The one I love is Jessica. Don't worry, I'll make you obsessed with me. After all, she's not around anymore, LOL. You might be right, but Jessica is the only woman I'll ever call my wife. I'll never forgive you for ruining her life. Oh, so you're saying you choose Jessica over me? Lily's expression vanished from her face. In the next instant, something shimmered sharply in Lily's hand. By the time I realized it was a knife, Lily was already running towards Jessica's coffin. Hey, it's always the same. Jessica always gets the best things. Always Jessica. With a demonic look on her face, Lily screamed and brushed off the funeral staff, violently removing the coffin lid. As an awful clattering sound echoed, Lily raised the knife in her hand towards the sleeping Jessica. What the hell are you doing? It's Jessica's fault. She always gets everything I want. I want them too. Everything is all because of Jessica. Stop it. In a fit of desperation, I lunged at Lily. I must not let Jessica get hurt. With the single-minded goal to protect her, I reached for the knife. The next moment, I felt a burning pain in my right arm as if scalded with boiling water. But I had no time to care. Several venue staff and attendees joined in to help, and I managed to wrest the knife from Lily's grasp. Let go. I did nothing wrong. It's always Jessica, always smiling so happily. She's the one to blame. It's all Jessica. Enough is enough. All of this is our mother's fault for giving birth to us as twins in the first place, no matter how twisted things have become. You were always my precious daughter. I thought so, but not anymore. I can't forgive you. What the heck are you saying? Cut the crap, old hag. Hey? Despite several people trying to restrain her, she continued to struggle and scream. When I called out to her as Lily, she suddenly looked happy. You've decided to accept me. Of course not. You always covet what others have and blame everything on them. But Jessica wasn't like that. She always tried her best, always smiled to make me and our daughter happy. Suddenly, I could picture Jessica's warm smile. She was always kind and sincere, and always supported me and our daughter. Thanks to you, I was reminded that my wife was the most wonderful person in the world. My wife will always be Jessica. I'll live my life with the daughter Jessica left behind. So never show your face to me again. At my words, Lily snapped back. You've got to be kidding. The police will be here soon. You'll have plenty of time behind bars to reflect on your actions. Police? I don't want that. I won't be able to go out and have fun. Please, give me a break. Suddenly, Lily seemed to soften and began apologizing, but it was clear she wasn't sincere. I said, I'm sorry. I won't do this again. Everyone present just watched her with blank expressions as she repeated her half-hearted apologies. Soon, Lily was arrested on the spot for assault by the arriving police officers. Daddy, you're hurt. Upon my daughter's words, I looked at my right arm and noticed a deep gasp bleeding profusely. The pain started throbbing intensely once I realized. I'm truly sorry. I'll cover all the medical expenses. And I promise I'll never let Lily get involved with you all ever again. My Mill, Susan, nearly dropped to her knees as she deeply bowed to me. I do hope you'll keep that promise. But you were trying to protect Jessica in your own way, weren't you? All this time, without my knowledge, Susan had been watching over my wife. To Jessica, Susan was just like her real grandmother. Should we really drift apart like this? She seemed to have read my thoughts and gave a small smile. Thank you for truly loving Jessica. From now on, just focus on making your child happy and please forget about me. Saying this, Susan walked away. After the funeral, Lily was sent to prison not only for the assault but for several other charges. My mill plans to have her work at a distant relative's place after her release, ensuring she never approaches us again. It's been 6 months since then. The hustle and bustle settled down, and in between my work, I spend as much time as possible with Jessica. The peaceful moments with my daughter are gradually healing the wounds Jessica and I have. On the monthly anniversary of my wife's passing, when my daughter and I visit her grave, fresh flowers are always already there. It's probably the doing of my mill, Susan. Perhaps one day, I'll be able to stand side by side with Susan and pay respects together. Don't worry about a thing anymore. No matter what happens, I'll always protect Jessica, so please keep watching over us. I swore by the grave, holding the birthday card I received from Sarah close to my heart.